All right, we up, fellas. What's up, Sports Mix?
What's up, man?
Abbreviated playoff edition. Talk about y'all guy. Talk about y'all guy, Kevin. What do you call himself? The easy money sniper. Durant. Dude is what he doing? What he doing? He got something to do with the Baltimore Arena getting refurbished, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's part of the investment group.
Yeah. So he can be a pretty popular guy here in the city. You know, shout out to KD. But we gotta talk about you tonight, brother.
You had a good game tonight.
Yeah, he played. I mean, listen, man. You know, this is not we're not just beating up Kevin Durant.
Right.
And
I saw something on ESPN where they were asking the question, is Jason Tatum taking KD's place as the best player, something like that. So come on. Now, I mean, just one series. No,
we in a game by game reality. You know, the narrative changed every game. You know, Tatum playing well, they winning.
Right.
He outplaying KD in the series overall.
Right. So
now we're going to overtake him. Let KD play his career out.
Right.
He's still one of the top 2 or 3 guys in the league. If you ask me.
Yep.
I don't know who asking me, but I think KD one of the top 2 or 3 guys in the league. But
the thing was, what they were comparing was they was trying to say that at Tatum's size that he's basically taking over, doing the moves that KD did as a 7-footer, being able to take people off the dribble and get the easy pull-ups. That what it was. I don't think they were saying just off the bat that he's replacing KD, taking KD's status. I think it was more like the Kobe Jordan comparison type thing.
No, I think that's exactly what because Kendrick Perkins said it. That kind of, I think the quote was he kind of taking over right before your eyes. He overtaking Kevin Durant.
I think, that's like
on it, and they made it based on the moves that Kevin Durant, his style of play. If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think they're talking about his status, his level as a player.
Stature in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Perkins was talking about.
And I think that's what and I think that's maybe the line that I saw like this morning on ESPN when they were discussing that question, which to me is like, come on, that's a bit premature.
Yeah, well, I ain't going that far with it.
Yeah,
I like Tatum.
Taking it a bit too far.
I like Tatum. I think Tatum is one of the premier guys for the next 10 years or so. But not he on the way. He's definitely on the way. We know KD is on the back end of his run. What's Kevin Durant now? Probably like 30 33, 4?
No.
He got to be like 30. I know he's over 30. He got like early 30s. I'll look it up, but
yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
He's he on the back end of his. We always try to put numbers on how many years they got left and all that. I ain't gonna do that. But let it play out. But we talking about, the pretty much, because we had a nice little debate going yesterday on the text. With this whole Nets team, the expectations with Kevin Durant, kind of what his legacy is, what it is, what it isn't. I'm not one to discount anything or take away anything. Dude is a champion. He won 2 championships. You know, he was the MVP of both of those championships. You can't take that away from him. Mm-hmm. As much as people like to nitpick and chip away at little stuff. But the thing with Kevin Durant that I think, and this is just my opinion, you know, and they go back to the whole thing like with, you know, and it's not about LeBron, but it's the same type of thing where, you know, these guys were in situations they couldn't get it done, and so they had to go to another situation, you know, and kind of team up with guys to get it done. Rightly or wrongly, it is what it is. They went and did it that way, but for some, it's going to chip away at the real greatness, and it's because you're comparing it to an era that's past, you know, and what players in the past have done or haven't done, you know. So we're talking about, you know, you always hear with Jordan wouldn't have teamed up with this guy, or Magic wouldn't have teamed up with Bird, or, you know, so on and so forth. You know, I just think to get it started, I think we dealing with a whole different type of circumstances in this era of basketball. The players are a little more business savvy because, you know, they learn from the guys before them. So movement to these guys is not such a big deal. Where in the past, you know, our players were kind of married to the situations they were in, and they was in some good situations. You know, the Lakers with Magic and them guys in LA. I mean, that's a hell of a situation, great city to be in, and to be winning. You know, Mike Jordan in Chicago. Was Chicago like the third largest city in America? You know, it's a great situation. So with KD, you know, in OKC, and here's the narrative. You know, he's at OKC. They go to the finals and was at 2012 again, and they lose to the Heat. Then fast forward to, what was that, 2016? 2016, they got the 73-win Golden State team down 3-1 in the Western Conference Final. Mm-hmm. And Golden State came back, won the Western Conference, and of course they go on and lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who they had down 3-1. And so where all this stuff started to get funky was, you know, Kevin Durant is a free agent at the end of that season. You know, with a little speculation about where he would go, who he would, or if he would stay in OKC. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you, I was shocked. I was shocked that he chose to go to Golden State. I was shocked that he made that move. But he goes to Golden State. You know, they come back. The next 2 years, they came back and played against Cleveland, and they beat Cleveland in the final the next 2 years. Then the third year was the year that they lost to Toronto in the final. And then, of course, after that, he moved on to Brooklyn. I keep wanting to say New Jersey. He moved on to Brooklyn, to the Nets. And I think, you know, a lot of that move was based upon the backlash he was getting from people saying that he couldn't be the A+ superstar on a team and carry a team to the finals, you know, with him being the guy. And I think, you know, him going to Brooklyn was kind of in response to that. At that point, you winning championships with Golden State, man. I'd have rolled that out. You know, at that point, you already said, F it. This is where I'm going at. I'd have just rolled it out, you know, because I guess it was some stuff going on in-house there. But so it's all about the legacy of KD, man. So what's y'all guys' thoughts on Kevin Durant's legacy as a superstar. We know he's a hell of a basketball player. His skills and his ability to play is unquestioned. And he clearly one of the top, 2 or 3 basketball players in this era, bar none. So, but with the legacy and that carrying the team and all of that stuff, man, that's kind of thrown around nowadays. What's y'all guys' thoughts on that?
Personally, his legacy is intact for me because he's carried teams. I mean, he just carried the Brooklyn Nets, tonight. So now, did they get to the finals? No.
Well, when I say carry, that's what I'm saying. Carry them to the championship and win it.
So again, because we had this discussion before, and this is where it gets the waters get muddy because people want to say that on one hand, it's a team sport. No player wins by itself when we're talking about some players. And then other players, it's all on their back. They supposed to take whatever team to the promised land. You can't have it both ways. This guy in those Golden State teams, here's something I want to change the narrative for his legacy. You think about it, he went to Golden State, a team, like you said, that was already a championship team, already had superstars, and he becomes the MVP of those superstars. That's something right there. That ain't an easy feat right there. He could have, like Charles Barkley said, been a bus rider and chipped in 15, 20 points a game, and they still won a championship. He was the MVP 2 years. He was the leading scorer both years. So, granted, but that's a team effort. That team had great coaching. They had a good bench. He had good assistance in both defense and offense. That was the makings. Another thing is just because when he went to that team, that didn't automatically mean that they were going to win the championship. Because you got 3 superstars now on a team. Their personalities have to gel, and they have to be able to play together. So it wasn't an instant thing for success. That was, like you said, if it was me personally as well, I would have rolled it out till the wheels fell off because it was the perfect combination. You obviously were happy up until the point where you and Draymond Green started bumping heads. And you could tell that they were happy playing together. So to me, his legacy is intact. I don't care what anybody says. The man got 2 chips and he got 2 MVPs of those finals. What more can you ask for? Amongst stars, not amongst average players, amongst stars.
What you got, CB?
Well, yeah, I agree. His legacy is intact, but what I'll say is this. Any discussion about KD this year cannot be held without mentioning Kyrie. It is absolutely impossible to talk about the extent of what could have happened with Brooklyn and KD without talking about Kyrie. It's impossible. It's to me. And this is to say what could have been had Kyrie played. Because if he plays and we get the same results, then you're going to make that argument with Kyrie and KD and the rest of the Nets. But the way this season has played out, we can look at what KD has done, but you have to look at what Kyrie has not done and how that plays into what KD and the Nets was able to do and not able to do. That has to, there's no way to have a conversation and that not be a part. A secondary part, well, I mean, everybody had to go through it, the COVID. That's a secondary.
Yeah.
But everybody went through that. I mean, in terms of the NBA like that. So that was more or less, although I think Miami suffered like a little bit in the beginning of the season, I think like a couple of other teams, but it sort of settled down.
Mm-hmm.
That's a secondary conversation. But foremost, for me, because like Neil said, what KD has done in the past, and let's not forget his injury. KD don't play the way he plays. His injury is talked about all the time. We don't talk about his injury because we look at his play. And so we forget, oh shit, man, he was, but we don't have that conversation because when he came back, he made us forget about that. When Kyrie came back, he did not make us forget. His play was not that stellar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What you got, Cheese?
Yeah, I totally agree with Neil and CB. All y'all make great points. I don't know if people who watch basketball either watch it or know it or understand what's going on, but a lot of the game is played with intangible. I hear all people now, oh, he's a bucket. Oh, he's this, he's that. I hate that. You don't know the game. We just talked about it tonight. We tweeted, well, not tweeted, inboxed on the defensive switch by Kyrie, where I don't know, what was he thinking about?
It wasn't.
These mental
There's nothing
issues
that you can do.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing.
No. And you can't, another thing, you coming in, these little intangibles throughout not only this game, but the season, the cohesion of the team is all tossed around.
Mm-hmm.
You take James Harden, then we talked about Ben Simmons earlier. That's a key part of trying to neutralize Jason Tatum. It didn't work out. And like Neil said, he didn't even touch the floor. But a lot of the touch on the floor part is, do you want it enough to where you want to play hurt? In my opinion. To me, he could have got out there and played.
If he's hurt.
If he's hurt.
The hurt, because he sat for weeks.
Yeah. You talk about a guy, and we talked about it months ago with Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen he couldn't even hardly stand up straight in the finals. Mm-hmm. He didn't mail it in. So when people say, oh man, Scottie only scored 10 points in the game, that dude couldn't even stand up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So these people, yeah, this dude is a bucket. You could be a bucket and get 20 a game, but you're giving up 24 on the defensive end. Your plus minus in the game is -8.
Yep.
So what are you doing besides scoring? You're not stopping nobody. Their defense is horrendous. But as far as KD, his legacy is cemented. And you know what? Just like CB said, you got Kyrie for half the season. Harden's gone. The team is in shambles. They had the whole, vaccination thing going on. And, it's a lot of
don't
stuff.
Forget Joe Harris.
I was about to say, Joe Harris out.
That
come
hurt.
on. Yeah.
That hurt.
So, as far as his legacy, he's a fantastic player. I'm not worried about that. Another thing, CB brought it up when he was with Golden State, even though they had a great team, and Neil brought up too. He led that team to a championship, in my opinion. From beginning to the end, the dude was balling the whole season. I had to give him credit.
Right.
But people throw that, and it's all contingent on people winning championships, and Barkley's never won a ring. But you can't tell me he ain't carried the Sixers quite a few years when they had nothing. Even when he went to the Suns, he carried them, even though they had a fantastic team. He was the man. That's why he won league MVP.
He was the bus driver.
Huh?
Right.
He was the bus driver.
There you go.
But that was before GPS. He couldn't get
Yeah.
to the location.
Yeah. But you gotta think, the intangibles of Barkley was he was tough and he defensive rebounded like no other. These intangibles, a lot of these guys overlook. And I just think that another thing outside of that, I gotta give KD credit. When everybody was getting on the Olympic team, KD put them on his back. He put him on his back. So I gotta give him credit for that, because people say, "Oh, they ain't gonna win no gold."
I remember.
He say, "Okay." He said, "This is what time it is."
I remember.
I gotta give him man credit, man.
Because didn't they get smacked around the first couple of games?
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You know what?
You're right.
That's how it is, man.
Yeah, I think it's intact. I think the question is going to be exactly what the Nets is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they're going to do with Kyrie, what they're going to do in terms of Nash, and in terms of filling out that roster.
And what they're gonna do with the Calvin Klein model? What is he doing? The Calvin Klein model sits on the bench all fucking day.
Who's that?
Ben Simmons. Yeah.
They can't do nothing with him, man. Ain't nobody in the league touching that guy. They stuck with him.
I think the Nets, man, from the beginning of the year was a train wreck waiting to happen. You know, adding James Harden, and then that thing not working out. You know, you had the Kyrie, situation, with him, not playing and then being able to play only the road games. It was just always something. It was always something. And then trade deadline, they trade Harden for Simmons, who had his issues with Philly. So you trade one headache for another. And then you a team that's kind of hanging around. Are we gonna make the playoffs? We got to get to the play-in game. It was a bad situation that was just gonna get worse. And to top it off, I was not in favor of Steve Nash getting the job to begin with. Just based off the guy had never been a head coach nowhere. I'd have felt a little more comfortable if Steve Nash became the head coach of like the Wizards, a team with no expectations. You know what I'm saying? A team that he can kind of grow with and learn with. But you send this guy to the Nets that just signed Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and so when you bring those guys in, you're not playing to be the 7th seed, the 8th seed. You're playing to win the championship. So to me, I want to coach with a little bit more, a little bit more up under his belt with respect to leading team. Yeah, he's a great point guard in the league and all that. But we're talking about a whole different animal in being a head coach of a championship level team. Because even Jason Kidd, when his first job was with Milwaukee, correct? Mm-hmm. And he struggled. Mm-hmm. He struggled with that in his first situation. Mm-hmm. But he looked like he learned. He went and he became assistant for a couple years. Mm-hmm. It took some pressure off. Now he's with Dallas. Mm-hmm. They got some young pieces in Dallas that he can kind of grow with. Mm-hmm. And take his
head coach of Brooklyn though. Didn't he coach Brooklyn?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was his first job.
Mm-hmm. No, I won his first.
Okay.
But tell me that
was the first.
We can't. If we see this one, I'm talking about Steve Nash. I'm not even gonna put it all on him.
It's not putting it on him, but that's just my opinion. I don't think he should have got the job.
No, I mean I agree, but I'm saying, but you know what? Look at his 2 years there. He comes in. He already has, a thing where, Harden wasn't playing. And then Kyrie didn't show up. He was playing half the time. The insurrection he said, man, I want to take off. What that insurrection at the Capitol got to do with him not playing?
That should come with the job.
No, man. It don't come with the job.
Shit happens. Injuries happen every year.
That's not an injury.
But shit happens. You the head coach, you got to deal with whatever.
No, man. That's totally different.
You deal with whatever happening in the building. You deal with it.
No, that's not true. When you supposed to have the most skilled player.
What was he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do?
You can't discredit the fact that Kyrie wasn't there.
But what is he supposed to do? He is the head coach of the team. What is he supposed to do? He got to deal with it.
What is he supposed to do?
Hold up. Let me interject here. Who's the GM for Brooklyn?
Oh shit.
Kevin Durant.
So Kevin Durant made all those off-season trades.
Who knows? I don't know.
Because here's the thing. My problem with Brooklyn, and I feel like the GM, they made dumb moves. Like I still to this day, what was the purpose of getting Patty Mills? What purpose did he fill?
Getting rid of Spencer Dinwiddie.
And that's where I'm going with it. Because like you said, when Kyrie was out, before Spencer Dinwiddie got hurt, he was the truth for Brooklyn.
He could play. He's a player. He's a player.
Truth. So
my point is,
how do you let that guy go? Then when it was a free agent, it was a plethora of inside players that they could have gotten the first year, last year. Like they could have got Drummond last year when he went to the Lakers.
See, you making my point better for me.
But that's what I'm trying to say. So you're right. Some of it, I was willing to give Steve Nash a chance, but I got to fault some of this on the owners.
Yes.
Look at the big men that were available. Drummond was available last year. What's big dude that's in Phoenix now that played with Golden State before then? He was the center off the bench.
Oh, McGee.
McGee was available. Boogie. I would have drafted Boogie. I mean, picked up Boogie. You could have got him for the low. You had all of these centers that were defensive people available. Like my thing, Brooklyn, their defense sucks. And last year, I felt like their premise was we gonna outscore everybody. And when you got Harden, Kyrie,
thank you,
KD, and Joe Harris, you could do that. The first 30, 40 games, they were pretty much outscoring everybody.
And that's probably why they hired Steve Nash as the damn coach, because he played for
a running
man in Phoenix, and that's what they did. They tried to outscore
everybody. The running offense. But at some point, you gotta stop somebody.
At some point.
But as a coach, you got to deal with the adversity that comes with the team, whether it's an injury, whether it's an insurrection, whatever the shit is, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it,
Coach.
Phil Jackson let fucking Rodman go to fucking Vegas in the middle of a season.
Come on. That analogy is terrible, man. That doesn't make no sense.
He dealt with it.
Did it happen? Well, hold up. In his defense, though, Rodman didn't miss the game.
Thank you.
Rodman played. There's a difference.
That's a terrible analogy, man.
Did it happen?
There's a difference, though.
Can I offer something?
Did it happen? Listen what I'm saying. Did it happen? Did it happen?
What happened?
Missing the games.
All right, we good. I ain't keep going back.
No, come on, no.
I'm not gonna do it. You are the head coach of the team. You are the CEO of the Brooklyn Nets. Whatever happens in that locker room, it's your job to deal with it.
So tell me this.
Period.
So you tell me this. If you lose James Harden, Kyrie Irving, 2 All-Stars for half a year, so you supposed to all of a sudden make up that kind of talent and say, okay, the next man up. It's not going to happen.
Well, so what did you say? We gonna forfeit these games?
No, you're not going to cash
play the games. You got to deal with it.
No, but you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, though.
Benefit.
Dennis Rodman played.
You gotta deal with it.
Then they had Black Jesus and Scottie Pippen.
You gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it. No, it makes all the sense. You are the head coach. You the head coach. You gotta deal with it.
In the land of what do they call it? analogyisms. That's the most horrible one I've ever heard.
Well, that's on you.
Ridiculous.
But at the end of the day, Steve Nash had to deal with it. Hey, he don't get no pass because well, all of this shit happened. He had to deal with it. Steve Nash, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, you got to deal with it. You are the CEO. This is not Dundalk High School. This is not fucking college. This is the NBA. This is professional sports.
So wait a minute.
Deal with it.
You telling me.
I said it, and I'm gonna stand on it. You gotta deal with it.
You telling me Phil Jackson say, you know what, Dennis Rodman, you go to Vegas. He didn't say Dennis Rodman go to Vegas and don't play.
I ain't never say he didn't say don't play.
But you just said it equated to the same thing the Nets did.
Can I jump in for a second?
Please.
From because I'm not particularly in favor of Nash. However, the differences that you are bringing up, Coach, I think you brought up Riley and Jackson. Now to me, when you look at Nash, when you look at Jackson and that issue with Rodman, Jackson couldn't do anything about it. Maybe he talked to Jordan, go get him. Because there was whatever relationship, whatever dynamic on the team. Jackson had that with the Lakers and the Bulls. You know, Riley had that with the Knicks, with the Lakers. Nash doesn't have that. That's his Nash because.
So we excuse that.
Even going back to before the season began. Let's go back to even before the season began. Before Nash even coached one game. Here come Kyrie. We don't need a coach.
Bruh.
Now, as a coach, I'm bringing your ass into the room.
Bruh.
What the fuck you talking about?
Bruh.
You went,
Steve, let's
to me,
like
Nash never had control of the team.
Let's say this. Jump. Let's say this then. Just if we're gonna say all that, let's just say this. Steve Nash didn't have to take the damn job.
Oh, there we go in there. Come on, man.
You had to take the job. You take the job. You take what come with it.
True.
You take what come with it.
But he never had control of the team.
Now we go. It's the excuses. You are the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, man. You deal with it.
Yeah. You
deal with it.
I agree. What I'm saying is Nash. I'm not saying that whether he agreed or whether he didn't deal with it or not. What I'm saying is Nash never had a chance because he never had control of the team.
Well, that's an even bigger problem.
To me. Huh?
That means he shouldn't have the fucking job. Excuse my language. He shouldn't be in the job then.
Then he's out. He's going to be out.
And like I said, you are the head coach.
By rush hour tomorrow.
You the head coach. You the head coach of the team. You deal with whatever happens in that building, good, bad, or indifferent. It's on you.
All honest. Well, you look.
I agree. But the only point that I'm making, I agree with you 1,000%. What I'm saying is, with the coach doing that, do the players got your back? I'm going to look at Phoenix players. They got his back. I'm going to look at Pelicans. They got his back.
So
I'm going to look at the Knicks. Not so much.
So whose problem?
You can look at Pat Riley. The Lakers had his back. You can look at
whose problem?
Look at Phil Jackson. The Bulls had his back.
Whose problem is that?
Nash.
So what have I been saying?
We're not saying no, but you're saying he shouldn't get all the blame though.
Right. That's the issue. We agree that Nash shouldn't have been the coach, and we agree that he's not the best coach. But there were some extenuating circumstances that led to his quick demise.
Just don't give us another analogy like that. That's horrible.
Oh, damn,
ridiculous.
You the head coach of any team, any professional league, yo. You even major college. The head coach is the CEO of that organization.
Correct.
Whatever happens within organizations is his to deal with. whether we like it or not.
Partially, man.
I agree
That's
with
why I asked who the GM
It's not
is.
no partial. I mean, it is what it is.
Because you gotta add the GM in there. Because
so do they
do
bring
not
him back?
agree that Steve Nash was responsible for all
Should he
of
come
those
back?
trades.
Nope.
No, he
Should he
shouldn't
come back next year?
He shouldn't come back. No, I
All
don't
right
agree with
then,
that.
because
But
if
that's
that's
based
the
on
case,
his.
then bring him
That's
back.
based
Bring him
on
back
his.
and bring him back
That's
with a clean
based on.
slate.
But here's the thing. Again, you say bring him back. If he don't have the power to get people, that's why I don't know. Because if he made those trades, then yeah, he definitely needs to go.
It doesn't
But
matter.
if he
It
was
doesn't
a
matter. He needs to
victim
be an
of a
assistant coach.
GM, if he was a victim of a GM making those trades and putting personnel on the team and then saying play with these guys that I'm giving you, that's not cool. Because just like we talked about it with the football when you said the coach didn't have the ability to pick his team and then they expected him to win.
Yep.
That's putting somebody in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Neil.
Yep.
But the difference in this case, Nash to me is a poor coach.
I agree with that. I agree.
All the tools.
I agree. From last year and this year, his lack of coaching.
He needs
when
to
the
learn how
game
to
is
coach.
tight. I agree, bro. I agree. But
I think he needs to be on the sidelines, like Big Ken said, and maybe do assistant coaching for maybe 2 or 3 seasons.
And I'm a hold firm. You sat in the driver's seat, and the ultimate responsibility is yours. No matter what happened. I don't care if Kevin Durant broke both his fucking legs on game 1. You got to deal with it.
It's a difference between dealing with it and winning with it.
That's going a little too far.
Yeah,
right
that's come on, kid. Your analogies are
they not in the playoffs. If Kevin Durant breaks both legs the first day.
We gonna deal with it.
So now,
one of the best players in the world just broke his legs tonight.
So a coach in any sport have never been fired after this team that went through some injuries and they didn't meet expectations.
Yeah, it's happened.
All right, so then case closed. Then it don't mean if we keep going back
How's
and
it gonna
forth.
be how's the case closed and we're debating this?
You don't have to like the analogy, but understand the point.
The analogy is pretty fucked up. I mean, really.
Well, I really don't care, but you understand the point.
No,
you understand the point I'm making.
Because
he's sitting in the driver's seat.
If that case,
he got to deal with it.
I understand Ken's point.
If KD broke both legs, Kyrie was out half the year. I'm giving him another year.
You got to give him a pass.
I'm giving him another year.
There's no pass.
You got to give him another year.
You deal with it. You deal with it.
Huh?
Give Nash another year?
No, you listen to what Neil said.
Both legs the first day of the game, the game of the season, and then Kyrie out half of the year. Yeah, at that point, I'd give him a pass. Because who else do you have on that team at that point?
Thank you.
He wouldn't even have been in the playoffs this year if that happened. I'd give him another pass. It's only the second year. But to have that talent and then
I agree, Neil. Agree.
Steve Nash shouldn't have had the job to begin with.
I don't agree.
See, he shouldn't have got the job to begin with.
They just had an update that Ben Simmons playing in game 5.
Yeah.
Come on,
Good
man.
luck. Good luck, man. Who the head coach for that game?
Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson.
Never. It would never ever happen. He'll never be a head coach in the NBA.
Who? Mark Jackson?
It's not gonna happen.
So
yeah, that's crazy, ain't it?
It's just not gonna happen. The same way Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, same reason why Rick Barry, not gonna happen.
Well, I know why Kareem didn't.
Why? What happened? Rick Barry, why is Mark Jackson never gonna be a coach again?
That's a good question. I have no clue about Mark Jackson, why he wouldn't.
You don't know why?
I mean, because of his religious beliefs.
That's it.
But
there's no but. That's it.
That's just not a good reason for me.
Yes, it is. When the NBA owners, when they get together and say, we are not going to. When one owner, the Golden State, I think it was partial owner in Golden State. When he goes to everybody, you hear what he said? And the other owner's gonna be like, yeah, okay, we got you. It ain't gonna happen.
I hear you, CB, but you know, the one thing that I hold hope out on is the fact that the huge ESPN contract with the NBA and ABC.
What does that mean?
And Mark Jackson, obviously, is one of the great commentators in the game. I think if they really wanted him away from the league, they would go to ESPN and they'd be say, like, look, we got this multi-billion-dollar contract with you guys or whatever it is. This is just what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but they may say, look, we want you to get another color commentator. Now, to your point, you could be right. But my reasoning for saying that maybe hope is because of this. Still commentating. Now, X's and O's, I think Mark Jackson is great. So
he has a very high
basketball
high
IQ. Oh my
very
goodness.
high IQ, and he was coached before.
Let's not forget he built the Golden State team, from that core that they had. But
I mean, people can talk about what the NFL did with to Kaepernick. You can look at what the NBA owners are doing with Jackson and what they did with Rick Barry and what they did with Jabbar.
And Kareem.
I mean, it's
Well, he was perceived to rub people the wrong way. Kareem as well during his playing days.
Yeah.
And I think that transferred over to after his playing days, and I think it kind of stuck with him.
That's why he never got. When was he a coach or an assistant coach?
Yeah, which is ridiculous to me. But see, what's even more ridiculous? These players who can't play a lick in the post, and they don't go to. He said he's open to any young man that wants to come and learn the post game, wants to learn a sky hook, which to me is the most unstoppable shot that was ever put in any basketball guard anywhere.
Man, ain't nobody shooting the sky hook in 2022.
No, but that shows how ridiculous that statement is, because it's unstoppable shot.
I feel
and it's a beautiful shot.
That shit is ugly.
I mean, come on, Dale.
It's effective, but that shit is ugly, bro.
Yeah, if you look at that shot in slow motion, it's one of the most beautiful shots you will ever look at.
When you think about it in terms of physics, man, it's a shot that's like impossible. Almost, it's hard to block,
especially when he was in his prime.
That you are creating,
and he could jump so high, and he was so athletic. I mean, come on, it was beautiful.
I agree, but just realistically, though, who's shooting? This dude was shooting 10, 12-foot sky hooks, man. Nobody want to see that shit in 2020.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: Magic Johnson developed that baby hook by working with Kareem.
Right.
Who among the four of us in a competitive game have ever shot a sky hook?
I have. I did it quite often.
I ain't never shot a sky hook. And the only person I ever noticed shot a sky hook was Leonard Cheese.
That motherfucker 5'5".
Real. And
that was his go-to shot, bro.
Two things. And I told y'all this a while. I used to study people. Magic and James Worthy had the greatest baby sky hooks that I learned that from.
Again, look at the way Magic shot his. Magic's hook was not a sky hook. Magic's hook was a post up. Throw his shoulder into
baby hook. That's
hold
what
up. Listen. Throw his shoulder until you go straight up and through the little hook. People do that now. But you talking about the sky hook, when you get the ball, you pivot on your outside foot, and ain't nobody doing that in 2022.
That was a beautiful shot. That is a beautiful shot. We're gonna debate that one up forever.
Man,
I think it's great.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shot in 1965. Man.
It's a great shot now. You mean tell me if you hit? I tell you this, we argued all the time, but if you give me a center that had that shot and was unstoppable, I'm getting him. He's gonna be my first pick. I'm just saying.
First pick in what?
It's an unstoppable move.
No, you said the first
pick.
Can't
stop it.
First pick
he
in
will
what?
Be in any NBA draft. If you give me a center who has great low post moves and has an unstoppable move like that, and on top of that was a great defender, he's number one.
You be picking number one every year.
You had that guy.
No, because it's not the centers don't go like that no more. There's no Akeem's coming out the woodwork no more. It's no Jabbar's coming out the woodwork. No Patrick Ewing. None of that. We got Embiid shooting threes, and
every center shoots threes. Look at this game with what's dude from Boston? I can't think of nobody's name right now. Horford. He's stepping out and shooting the three.
But he's another guy that has intangibles. He'll get the loose
You know,
ball. He'll
He
rebound.
will. I'm just saying though, he's still stepping out shooting threes at 7 foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let me take it back. Let me take it back.
The analogies or what?
No, well, I may, you know, depend on where we go with this. But let's go back to Kevin Durant.
Right.
Go back to Kevin Durant. You know, so all right, we all agree his legacy is what it is. You know, he'll be a first ballot guy. You know, he's a champion, perennial all-star. You know, all that stuff is unquestioned, right? I think the one thing that got Kevin Durant made him kind of newsworthy is that, you know, prior to him going to Golden State, you know, KD was the likable guy. Everybody liked Kevin Durant. And then he goes to Golden State and he almost like he became a villain. And he tried to play that villain role. You know, he tried to fulfill that. You know, he had the burner account on Twitter, and, you know, all the little silly shit that he did over the last couple of years. I mean, you know, KD a little sensitive. You know what I'm saying? He's a little sensitive to what people say about him, and I think that's why he continues to try to prove people wrong. Like, instead of staying in Golden State, let me go somewhere else and try to do this thing, so y'all can shut y'all up. You know what I'm saying? So I think he fell victim to, you know, he was a guy that never really got a lot of ridicule. And then once he went to Golden State, it was raining on him. And I don't think he juggled that well. You know what I'm saying? So I think in his own mind, you know, he's got to do certain things because of the noise. You know, he's hearing all this noise. I gotta prove to these people that I am what I say I am. You know, when at the end of the day, if you understand and know the game, he don't have to prove nothing to nobody. We all know that he one of the coldest motherfuckers that ever played. Like, he don't have to prove to me that he can go. I know for a fact Kevin Durant is a bad boy on that basketball court. But I think, you know, the ridicule that he's taken over the last few years, the shots people taking at him, you know, people talking about his legacy is this, that, and the other. You know, he had to join, whatever, all the stuff that they say. I think that's the kind of thing that's got him where he's at now, where he's going to be chasing. You know, I got to do it without these people, that person. You know what I'm saying? I got to do it kind of where I'm the absolute guy, which I personally don't think that's necessary. But I think he's going to chase that until he can't no more. And that's just how I feel about that. But what's your thoughts on that?
So let me just play the opposite side. Did he become the villain, or did people make him the villain by saying that, you know, the stuff they said about him when he went to Golden State?
Either way, he was sensitive to that shit.
But hold up, you said he fell into being the villain. Did he fall into being the villain? Hold up, let me finish what I'm saying.
Well, it's a conversation we have.
Villain? But you're not letting me express my point. Did he fall into being
But don't tell me what I was trying to say neither. I know what I said.
Again, did he fall into being the villain, or did he respond to stuff that people were saying about him?
Whether he responded
to it, you can't be the aggressor, and then when somebody comes back, say they're the villain, or they did something to you.
Now, I ain't never say he was a villain.
KD, you said he played the villain. That's what you said. He
played the victim.
No, you said villain. You said he played into playing the villain. So which is it, the victim or the villain?
Hello?
What have this man been doing the last couple of years, man? He responded to all of this stuff.
So he don't have a right to respond.
What I've said is what we are getting is a result of all of the backlash that he's taking for the fucking move to Golden State.
So if you let me finish, this is where I'm going with it. I don't think because you have a right to respond to what's said about you, especially when it's hurtful or if it's false. Now, I don't know. I don't speak personally to Kevin Durant, but I know that when there was the issue with him and Stephen A., he addressed that specifically, that Stephen A. Smith was making up stuff because nobody in his camp told Stephen A. any of that information. So if you're responding to something, how can you be the villain when you're being attacked? That's number one. Number two, in the case of the Golden State situation, again, because he made that statement that his camp doesn't leak information, when it was all of this speculation of why he left Golden State, because he wanted to be the man. I mean, until I saw two interviews with him when he said that wasn't the case. It wasn't him chasing to be somewhere because he wanted to be the man. He said he left because of the situation with Draymond Green. He felt like Golden State as an organization didn't support him through that situation. And that's what caused him to leave. So if me personally, and I'm not defending the man, but I can only go by what he said, because anything else is speculation. If I kind of feel like that because everything was sweet up until that incident with him and Draymond. And then that happened. And then it was talk in the media. They never talked about it. Nobody from the organization tried to mediate the situation. And it was a contract year. So I can kind of understand. I don't necessarily believe, now I'm not saying that's not a reason, but I don't necessarily believe that he left Golden State, a situation that was gravy, that turned sour, to go somewhere just because he wanted to be the man and see if he could win a championship on his own.
That's a good point, man. I agree. Because I think that incident was a big part of it, and that Trinity with Clay, Steph, and Draymond was something that he probably didn't want to be a part of anymore anyway after that incident, because the line was drawn in the sand. And like Neil said, he didn't feel like he was getting any support from the brass. So I don't blame him for going to Brooklyn. And I don't see KD is being at fault with a lot of the stuff that has gone on. And like you said, sometimes you get fed up and you want to lash out for right or wrong. Then you got to also realize a lot of this stuff, KD is 32 years old. A lot of stuff he was happening when he was 24, 25. I mean, he was really a kid when you look at it. So I don't know, man.
What you got, CB?
Well, I think in terms of, after he left Golden State, he did, I think sometime after, he started being a little bit more open as to why he left Golden State, and Draymond started to be a little bit more open about his part and how he fucked up. And I think even Kerr came in and said and took some responsibility to some of the points that Neil brought up. But I did wanted to say something about the Durant as the so-called villain, because it seems that when he left, he was painted as such. To me, he started to buy into it. Similar to when LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami, because folks was hating on LeBron, and there was let's call it temporary change that LeBron had, particularly with the press or whatever, not to say that it reached like villain status, but like he was feeling the sting.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times where that so-called sting would manifest itself into whatever words, and people would be like, oh shit. I think the same thing with Durant, because he got stung, and he had to burn account and all of that, and and maybe he became more sensitive, or maybe the situation with Golden State sensitized him. But I think because he was stung, that his reaction, his response was, fuck the world, and and that's how it manifested until he brought himself down, and he is where he is today. Everybody goes through, how would you say, phases, man. Go through ups and downs. With these dudes, they're young, they black, they fucking millionaires, and their behavior at a particular time is frozen. Whereas for the rest of us, we live normal lives. We're gonna grow and evolve or whatever. But these guys, whatever particular incident or whatever particular time, like that gets pointed to and stays. You know what I mean? And the media, all of that. Don't let me get all of that, but it's funny because they make a lot of money or whatever, but to some extent they can still get stung just like everybody else. If their woman leaves them, they're gonna feel it the same way that any other brother gonna feel it, but they may get over it quicker or whatever. But emotions are emotions. People gonna feel.
I give him credit though, man. Through all the ups and downs, you can really break his career down in 3 or 4 different sections, going back to Oklahoma City, when he and Westbrook and Harden, they were all young, but they're a fantastic team. But during that period, the Lakers were superior. Then it gets to a point, they get to the finals, they run to LeBron. Hey, it happens. Then he finally gets a chance with Golden State, and like Neil said, he was the best of the best on those years he was there. It was fantastic, man. And then to Brooklyn, where I think Harden and Kyrie played what? Less than 60 games together? Some ridiculous amount.
I think it wasn't even way less than that.
Yeah, it was way, and it was like, okay. But the dude, through all the Twitter beefs, with whether it's Stephen A or somebody else, through other players, the dude performs. He still plays. I can't take that away from him. And in that way, that's off the court, he might have we can all handle stuff better, but he has that old school mentality, whereas once he's on the court, he's balling. I can't take that away from him.
I mean, listen to his interviews, like after a game, like he talks like a baller. Yo, just want to hoop.
Yep.
Just want to like he's a baller.
The dude don't get no trouble. He ain't hanging out, he ain't doing no ill shit. I mean, he just balls. That's all he does.
To his interviews, he's never once thrown anybody under the bus.
Never. But my boy Kyrie did it the other day. My boy Kyrie did it. So,
What he do?
He said something ridiculous about Katie, something about, and it was kind of one of them sly remarks, like we don't have the kind of we haven't played together or something, and we got to get
said about about them not having a chance to gel because they haven't played the entire season together. But that's your fault.
Yeah, come on, man.
Wasn't really. I didn't see that as a dig at KD.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, come on.
But let me just say something real quick. Let me take it, since we was bringing up great analogies, because I got 2 good ones when it comes to KD in that situation at Golden State, which I can kind of understand. Because I remember Shaq said that when he left Orlando, he said the reason he left Orlando because he said they were in that contract dispute, and he knew he was worth $100+ million. And he said they were going back and forth with him. And he said, so what happened was the Lakers offered him $100 whatever $1 million. Orlando had 7 days to match it. He said, within that 7 days, an article came out in the paper that said there's no way that this guy's worth $100 million. You could use that money for whatever. He said at that point he knew he was gone because he felt like the city of Orlando didn't appreciate him. That's the same thing Harden said when he was up for his contract negotiation. He said he wasn't even asking for that much. He said what Houston gave him was more than what he was asking for at OKC. But the fact that they didn't, I think they maybe did come back and counter offer it. But at that point, it was too late because he had made up in his mind that they felt like I wasn't worth it. So it was no need for me to stay there again. And I feel like that's that same energy KD had in his mind with that once that Draymond Green situation happened and nobody from the organization, Steve Kerr even said that he didn't try to get them two together to talk about it.
Which is ridiculous.
Think about it. You brought these dudes 2 championships, not saying that maybe they would have got them without him, maybe they wouldn't have. But I was there responsible for those 2 championships. And y'all just let all of that lay on the carpet in my contract year. Nobody says nothing to me. I might have been out too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was all of the, him trying to lead a team or feel like he had to take a team. I feel like it was more discussed with the relationships. They were broken. At that point, he felt, beyond repair.
And Neil, let me ask you a question.
That's interesting.
I want to ask Neil a question. I agree with you with Golden State. What about the move from OKC to Golden State? Do you think
situation? Go ahead. Let me go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you think that when Durant made that move, that he made that move, with that his legacy in mind, the ring in mind, whereas it was a different approach in leaving Golden State? Because to me, I think they're 2 different situations.
If I'm being honest, I know he made the move thinking he could get a ring. But I don't think that was the only thing. I think part of him, he was leaving OKC regardless. Because again, the relationship with him and Westbrook,
right?
In that series, you could see that was fractured, just the way they were going down court. And, he was refusing to give him the ball. Like, at that point,
agree.
I knew he was like, I'm done with that. So I know he went to Golden State to get a ring. But Draymond Green admitted that, him and Clay, they called him and talked to him like, come here. So
I remember that.
I don't believe that he had that in his mind, like, I'm gonna go to Golden State and I can instantly get a ring. I feel like once they put it in his mind, he was like, hey, sparks started flying like, this could be right. And that's what happened.
Point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I forgot.
I don't think it was premeditated to go to Golden State.
Coach C, what's up, my brother?
Coach?
What's going on, brothers? How's everybody doing?
Coach? Good.
He chilling,
Yo, what you in LA? It's 3 hours late.
Some of us work, man. I was in the gym. It's open gym night tonight. See, it's always
on that. I probably would.
Always a light skinned brother, man.
I know, man. Yeah. Terrible.
But I was listening in, and I can see now that Neil was paying attention in school. Maybe very able to articulate his words and get the message out. And I agree 98%.
What's the 2%, my brother? Give me your 2 cents.
No, I don't really have any. I just, the Shaq situation, I agree with totally. And people don't, us regular folks don't get value to these athletes wanting to feel appreciated.
Exactly.
We don't take that into account, And we tend to gloss over the fact that they're still people. They still got feelings, and they hear people talking trash about them. They hear that, KD and Draymond, that was just organizationally bad on Golden State's part. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they fix that, you're not talking about anybody else other than them for the next 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
That team, the issue that I have with KD leaving OKC to go to Golden State, like you said, I don't think that was his intention. I think the opportunity just presented itself. But at that time, you also got to remember that, and I'm gonna blame Charles Barkley for being the ringleader. All they were talking about was if you don't get a championship, you ain't in this level. You ain't in this conversation, And how many jokes were told at Barkley's expense for that same thing? So now Barkley has now become the owner of that whole notion of either you get the ring or you just average. And then
which is silly to me.
Because he's the main one on that bandwagon and he don't have a ring. Right.
Don't have a ring. And he made a comment last night that he said, I forgot the adjective that he used, but we'll just call it the big dog for now. I forgot how he said it, but the point he was making was there's a lot of dogs on teams, but when you get to the playoffs, who's really the big dog?
The bus driver now.
The bus driver, that's what he said. Yeah. There's a lot of y'all on the bus, but who's really the bus driver? And as a competitor that KD is, I don't want to keep hearing that. Now I'm over here on the best team and I'm driving this bus. And I've drove this bus to 2 championships. So me being an old school guy, no, I didn't want to see him go to a team that just beat him. But I'm glad he got the ring so you can shut that narrative up. That narrative is annoying. Because to me, for all the basketball I watch, he may be the best scorer I've ever seen.
Who?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's a great scorer. But you know what? I don't know if you heard the rest of it. Charles Barkley made a great point. There's a lot of guys who got 3, 4, 6 rings. And all of a sudden people say, oh, should he be in the Hall of Fame? No, Robert Ory should not be in the Hall of Fame.
No.
That's a ridiculous statement. I've heard people say this, and I think it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be, he shouldn't even be on a ballot. No. Shouldn't even be on a ballot. This is what I say when people watch basketball. Do you know basketball? He was a great intangible player.
But he light-skinned.
No, well, see, that's another reason why he shouldn't be in the Hall.
Hey, that light skin slander grade. Stop.
No, it's true though. It's true though.
We got y'all outnumbered tonight.
No, but it's true. We went out 30 years ago. I gotta get
controls. I can mute all y'all motherfuckers.
At the 1992.
Light skin net.
Yeah, we was out.
LBO is over with.
Yeah, it's gone. But no, you know what? But he made a great point. He wasn't a bus driver,
right?
But when that double team came to Hakeem, he made Kenny Smith, Robert Ory, Mario Elie, who was a dog, by the way. I like Mario Elie, but he made all them guys look good.
Yeah.
But they were great role players. That's what they were.
But over the years, there's a lot of shit with sports that get out of whack. Having at one point it was just win a championship. Win a championship to cement your
validated you.
Validates your greatness. Now, if you don't win 2, 3, 4, 5, like stop. And see that's another thing why you got these guys in this era. They start chasing because they start listening to all the noise. Well, if I don't have this many, I can't be considered this great.
Right.
Man, your greatness, like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the subject of the night. His greatness is undeniable. Whether he win another championship or not, his greatness is undeniable and cemented. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's the noise of, well, he didn't get as many as Kobe got, or he didn't get as many as LeBron. So what?
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
So what? But it don't matter.
Right.
It shouldn't even matter whether he get 1 or 2 or, you know what I'm saying? He got 1. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't matter to me anyway. If he got 0,
but
he's
that's
still
what I'm
gonna be a
saying.
great player.
But
like
see, I'm gonna just say this. because the guys that's here on this screen, we look at sports a little different.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I think we appreciate sports a little different than, I ain't gonna call it average fan, but some fans just look at surface type shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't get an MVP, if you're not an MVP of the league or you're not a multiple all-star, that means you're not this or that. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't if you didn't carry a team to a championship, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant could have stayed in Oklahoma City for his whole career and been legit first ballot.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But we get caught up and you know, I ain't saying we, but you just hear the noise. You know, we hear the noise. We all talk with different people. We be in the barber shops. We be in different places. You hear the conversation.
Right.
Yo, I limit who I talk sports with now.
You have to.
I limit it because some of the shit be so outrageous and dumb. Like, yo, we talk about somebody's legacy. You comparing one guy to another guy when one guy's situation is totally different from another guy's situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, let's take Magic Johnson for instance, right? So I never knew that he got drafted to the Lakers based off a coin flip.
Right.
So had the coin flip went the other way and he went to Chicago Bulls, there's no telling what his legacy would have been.
You know what?
I don't doubt that he would have been a great player. He'd have been a great player whether he went to Chicago, New Jersey, wherever. But would he have won 5 championships with you know what I'm saying?
If he would have signed with Nike instead of Converse, where would he be?
Nah, I don't think, you know what? I don't think that would have made a difference during the 79.
Yeah, but 5 years later it made a difference.
No, I mean, when you think about
he had the option to be, he had the option to be, you know, have some stock in the company.
No,
but you know what, Chuck?
Whole idea was Converse was already established. They were the big dogs on the block, and they didn't do that much push. Nike hungry. And that I want to be like Mike shit was incredible, yo. We all think
it wasn't that in the beginning because you got to think. And I'm glad you brought this up because I'm going to give you guys a bit of history. When that came out, there was a concerted effort to have him and Larry Bird come to Converse.
Correct.
They certainly, during the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, really energized the NBA.
Correct. Yep.
Even when the Jordans came out in 85, I believe.
Yep.
The weapons were, I believe, the #1 sneaker in the NBA.
No matter, man.
Yeah.
Until the Jordans came out, not after the Jordans.
Yes, they did. If you go look back, because you had guys like, because you got to think, Neil, Jordan was running a whole Nike campaign soon as those, especially when those first Air Jordans came out. But and the weapons, you got to realize they had 7 to 10 top 20 NBA guys wearing the weapons.
Correct.
Right. And had most of the college. But
yes,
again,
it's undeniable.
Nike was a close second because you figure the Air Force One, they broke into the college scene with that. And then you think Jordan, that's what took him off. So I'll give you that up until then, but that next year, I think it was a wrap.
But you got to think that was already in his 6th. I think that was Magic's 6th year at that point.
Right.
So up until then,
the Nike campaign there, whoever they had on their creative team for commercials and all and branding was a genius.
Right.
Yeah.
And whether people want to admit it or not, that is part of what Mike's GOAT legacy comes from. You know, we all grew up with that dumbass song in our ear. I want to be like him doing a commercial with Night Sun and all that, man. If you put Magic Johnson in that same spot, that's what we talking about. He's the greatest player of all time then. The Neil, you wore what was supposed to be the who the hell god damn, the Lynn Bias Reebok.
Right.
Or the Reggie Lewis Reebok, rather. I mean, so Reebok was making the push, and then their star player goes down, you know. So it wasn't, the Jordan wasn't that great then. It was known.
No, it was known. It wasn't that, no.
You know what I mean? But the push that came
still
after. But by 88, Shit, it wasn't nothing but
And that's what I'm talking about. You got to remember the league at that point has so many different players having different kinds of sneakers. Converse had, like I said, 7 or 8 of the top 20, but you had guys like Akeem wearing Etonics. You had Ralph Sampson wearing Pumas. You had James Worthy wearing New Balance. You had George Gervin wearing Airs, Nike Air Force. They were so spread out. And then
the was the same shoe in different colors for each of their superstars.
Right. Yep.
And Nike decided we're gonna make something exclusively just for this kid.
Yep.
But Nike wasn't the first to do that, because I had a pair of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Adidas back in '83.
Absolutely.
It just wasn't it wasn't the commercial, like you said, the marketing wasn't
correct
like that thing.
Totally right, Neil. You're absolutely right.
There were other people that had their names on shoes.
Correct. Yep.
But like you said, but I was wondering, like, how come they didn't offer Mike that same investment deal that they offered Magic?
That's a good question, man.
I think they was a little bit more established by then.
That's 5 years, 6 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, because at that time Magic had 3 rings at that point.
Right.
Now, so let me push back a little bit, Charles. Coach C. Cause all right, that shit Mike was doing on the court had a little bit to do with helping that marketing.
Oh, here we go with this shit.
Absolutely, no.
Come on, man. You can't discount it because he
know this. We already know this, big dog. Why you got
so come on, man. It's been marketing campaigns that didn't quite. You know what I mean?
You're right.
But so it wasn't just the marketing. Yeah, he had to produce.
Oh no. Don't say
that's
that
true.
When it's on the court. But
fact.
Like I know, you watch enough basketball to know there's only certain things that stick in your mind from your youth going now. And that one was that Wings poster with his arms stretched out holding the ball in each hand.
Right.
You had that. You had the Iceman poster, him sitting on the throne of ice. Right. It's not that many things that were that wow that you still remember from back then. And all of that, I'll be willing to bet that 95% of that was Nike generated.
Like
the way the Iceman poster might be the greatest of all time, man.
Iceman poster was hot.
Two best sneaker marketing to me was, like you said, Mike is number 1, and second would be Larry Johnson with his
Grandmama. Yes, sir.
Grandmama,
yo.
So you would put that over the weapons with Magic and Bird?
That was Converse's last.
In my mind, remember what I remember first? Yeah, I would.
Okay.
But I think too, they learned from Jordan too by that point.
But and the other side to it was a lot of that. Remember, I don't want to tell everybody how old we are, but when we were young, the games was on videotape.
You 52.
Yeah. The best part, I will always be a year younger than you.
52 right now.
But every number you pick, add one to yours.
I'm 52, right? I'm Ray Lip right now. I'm Ray Lewis right now.
But I remember the one when Magic pulled up in the limo and snap his pants off, and this, that, and the other.
When he was in French Lick, that was great, man.
Yeah. I mean, but now show me another Converse commercial in all the years, other than the Grandmama ones. And that the commercial that they didn't make, I think, was really the downfall. Believe it or not, they were going to make a commercial with Magic Johnson in like a doctor's, the garb with the little thing on his head and all that, with Larry Bird operating. And they were creating the perfect basketball player. And they were supposed to have been arguing over what name to give him. So, of course, Larry uses the first name. Magic uses the last name. You create Larry Johnson. He hops up and, Grandmama, blah, 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 blah. But that whole
thing. Been great. Oh, wow.
That was what the plan was. And some kind of way Grandmama took over instead, which they made a bunch of money off of.
Yeah, that was a great campaign, man.
What about the Converse? Remember the one with all of them was in it? Larry Bird, Magic, Isaiah Thomas.
Mark Aguirre.
Yo, they was ruling. They was ruling at one point.
But the raps in that was, I'm sure they don't want that shit to resurface. That was terrible.
Dr. J wore Converses too.
Yes,
correct.
he did.
Yeah, he was.
He never wore weapons though.
Right. He doesn't wear.
He had his own Dr. J's.
The Dr. J, the All Stars.
Yeah, the All Stars.
Converse All Stars.
Right.
They still hot though. They still hot.
Yo, them boys hot.
They got some colors now that came out. I was trying to get. They be sold out every time I see them.
They still hot.
Well, you know, ironically, and Coach C knows this. Converse is owned by Nike.
Right. They bought it over. Yeah.
And Draymond Green wearing Converse now. We had the All Star.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he had on the. I guess it was Michigan State. I guess he had on the green.
Yeah.
Goddamn Phil Knight.
Though? I watched a podcast with Magic Johnson where, of course, you know, he was talking about his movie coming out.
Right. I saw that.
He was talking about winning. And they asked him, like you said, Kenny, about that coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
If he had went to the Bulls, and of course, Magic said what we all said, Magic would have been Magic wherever he went.
Right.
But he said, with me on the team, they would have been so good, we
you
might
don't
not
get the
have drafted Jordan.
We wouldn't have.
No, they wouldn't have got Jordan.
No.
Wouldn't have. Right.
Unless they had a shrewd ass GM like my man that got Len Bias up there in Boston.
Red Auerbach.
Red Auerbach.
Some of that trickery he was pulling off on some of these GMs and shit.
Selling fucking bean pies.
Yeah.
He was robbing people every year.
Yeah. But you know, that's the thing too with with these with these you know, your situation, you know, where you get drafted at, all of that shit play a part in how you become, you know, your star rises and all of that.
Absolutely.
You have to land into a situation that's perfect for you. You know, and just I saw a little thing on Twitter today about the young kid from Gonzaga, the 7-foot guy, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah,
Chet Holmgren.
You know, and there was a quote. I forget who made the quote that said that you know, he should, if he was picking, and I forget who it was. I'm sorry about that, but he said he would definitely be the number one pick.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm not a guy. I don't like drafting on potential. Like the number
That's
one,
what all the draft is.
But I don't like it. The number one. At one point, you know, and it's again we telling our age. The number one guy came in and was expected to be a factor right away.
Correct. And
it's kind of I'm probably a prisoner of the moment. I'm stuck in time that way. But even with guys that get drafted now on potential, usually by the time they reach the potential, they moved on to some other team and shit.
They didn't got traded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, did you really draft this guy with all this potential, and then you just traded him or let him walk away in free agency? It's like, so what was the real point of that?
But the sad part is the coach has to win in order to get his contract extended.
Right.
You know, so I got to win now. I can't win 3 years from now.
Right.
But that now you go back to before the kids were staying in school 4 years. You know, so your body's developed, your game's more developed. You're able to come in and play in the league. You know, now you're there for 6 games in Kyrie case, and you're off to the league.
Yeah.
Well, this potential thing, I mean, I understand, you know, you want a player to come in, especially number one pick. You want him to be a factor right away. But potential is a funny thing where you'll have it in stages. Some teams may feel like, you know what? We have a seasoned team. I feel like I can be patient with this guy because I think his ceiling is higher than anybody's in the draft.
Right.
Depends on where he's going for your number one pick or your first round pick.
Yeah,
Chet Holmgren is a guy, and I've seen him work out with Kevin Durant and those guys. You can see it on YouTube. Has a fantastic upside. He's skilled, handle the ball, shoot from everywhere, both hands, can dribble. I think he's going to be a fantastic NBA player, all contingent on him getting stronger and being more aggressive. I think those are 2 main points in his game.
I hope right, but I see Adam Morrison is what I see.
No, he's way more skilled than Adam Morrison.
I'm just telling you what.
Please don't let him. Please don't let him be that.
No, he's way more skilled than Adam Morris. If I were him, I would stay another year though. I would stay another year, Gonzaga, and say, look, you got one of the best coaches in the country in Mark Few. Matter of fact, Mark Few is in my top 3 or 4 coaches in the country.
Don't say that shit again.
Yeah, because look at his track record.
Being light skinned.
No, but think about what he's done. He puts me in the mind of a Jay Wright. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh Lord, okay, I gotta go.
No,
I gotta
listen.
go.
Listen what.
Love you, my brother.
No, Coach C, you know I'm a big Jay Wright guy. That's probably my top coach in the end. Well, was in college, but
right.
You think about his skill development for his players when they get in from. He never gets usually a one and done. He got the kid last year from Minnesota, who was a Minnesota Player of the Year, who should have stayed in college. The point guard.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about the guys that stayed 3 or 4 years in his program and how they develop every year and they learn how to play team basketball. Just like Jay Wright. Jay Wright really doesn't have many one and dones at all.
Correct.
His players usually stay at least 3 years.
Yeah, it's a culture that they have there.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, man. They just
but Jay won the game.
Huh?
Jay has won the big game.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about the culture. Because I, as a Georgetown fan, I respect what Jay Wright did at Villanova. Like it's hard not to. I'm a basketball fan first.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. But like you said, he has a culture. Too many of our young guys listen to the fucking noise.
Correct.
You should be this, you should be that. So there's no patience. You know what I'm saying? It's a big thing now with this the portal.
Right.
And it's everybody got their reason for getting in it, for transferring, moving around. I think eventually, like everything else, it'll kind of even out and you won't have as much movement every year. Right now it's kind of the thing to do. It's hot. But I don't think it's going to be a thing that's going to last. But I think too many of these guys, they listen to the noise, they listen to these rankings, they look at the stars behind their name. I'm 4 stars, I'm 5 stars, I should be this, I should be that. When is the 30 for 30 coming out with the guys that didn't make it? You know what I'm saying? The guys that left after 1 year.
Correct. Yep.
The one and done guys that was 5-star guys can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
When is that coming out?
Right.
Because I know the list is long. Because it's a lot of names. Like I watch a lot of podcasts and I hear names that I forgot about.
Right.
Like, damn, he was like top 5 guy in class or whatever. And he probably somewhere, pushing the, I don't know, I ain't gonna say that, but he not hooping no more.
Stromile.
Yeah, I mean, man, come on. And them guys was tough.
They was tough.
Like they was tough back in their day.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I know some of them guys had injuries that kind of slowed them down. But I respect what Jay Wright did because, like you said, he didn't have a lot of guys leaving. Them guys came in, they bought into what he was doing. They developed. Whether they was 3, 4, or 5 stars, whatever their stars were, they bought into what he was selling.
Right.
And he was able to develop them guys, and they bought in, and they did a lot of winning. They did a lot of winning down there. So, will college basketball ever get back to that? I doubt it. But I think what the NBA needs to do is really take a bigger look at that G League or whatever it's called now, and really blow that up. Because I've heard that they go back to, they eliminate where the guys don't have to go to school for the 1 year. I don't know how many years is down the road, but I heard it's coming back, which means they're gonna need that G League. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need it.
That was a Supreme Court ruling.
Right. So the from what I'm hearing is the labor laws now prohibit you from forcing this kid to go to college 1 year, 2 years doesn't make a difference. Right. So again, how many 18-year-olds that came out that went straight to the league were productive? Right. So now you're just saying, I'm at 18, I feel like I can go to the G League and make this, $250,000 if I'm an elite kid, or $100,000 if I'm just okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then what? Because the majority of them don't get out the G League.
Right.
So now what? Now you don't have education.
Right. Right.
Now you're done playing at 26. You didn't blew your money in most cases. Now what's the plan?
Right. Right. And it's
I'm hearing that the portal will be done this summer, that this is going to be the end of the transfer portal, which it needs to be. It's killing high school basketball.
Yeah.
There was 1,500 and some odd names in the portal for 800 spots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 54% or so of the kids going home. Because for those, if you don't know, once you declared I'm going to the portal, the current school you're at no longer is financially obligated to honor your scholarship.
Right.
So then if you put your name in the portal and don't get picked up, you don't have nowhere to go unless you want to pay for it and walk on somewhere.
Yeah. And it's, the business, we talked about it a couple podcasts ago, the business of sport. The business of sport, man, is the death of a lot of people because they don't understand the business of it.
Man, the business of sport is a lie. And everybody's selling the same damn lie, and it just keeps going on and on.
But let me add the wrinkle in time here, though. You talking about a kid 18 years old that goes to the G League. But don't forget, they got that league now that they're forming where you can play in as a high school student.
Overtime. Yeah.
Right. So that's another wrinkle right there.
I mean, there are avenues that you can take as a junior in high school to go get paid. Mm-hmm. The problem is if it don't work,
right?
Then what?
Yeah.
So you got, and I don't want to say everybody's old, but you got adults taking advantage of these young kids, man. What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You got kids from usually financially strapped homes.
Yep.
These piranhas are coming there and preying on them.
Yep.
There's a kid with Baltimore ties that should have went to the University of Michigan, but the rumor is, I'm doing air quotes if y'all didn't see the air quotes, that the parent took money along the path from one high school to the next. Mm-hmm. And the fans was watching. So he had to remove his name from or decommit from the college that he was going to and went to the G League. Mm-hmm. All right, well, you did okay. You got pulled up to the main team, but you sat and watched the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to be out of there next year. And you're going to bounce around for a while. Hopefully you get overseas and make some money. Because your development, I don't know, there's always been a process to everything. Everybody wants everything done instantly now. And it can't be. There's a process to it. And we're looking for the shortcut.
And if you're in the know, going overseas don't mean you getting the bag over there.
Oh, absolutely not. You might be over there making, $250,000 a year.
Shit, you might be over there making 40,000.
5,000. Yeah, I had a kid that I used to cut his hair, and he went over. Yeah, that's what I had. I had a guy that I used to cut his hair, and he used to get $6,500 a game.
A game, yep.
And his agent got a cut of that.
Right.
But he went to El Salvador. He played in San Juan. Mm-hmm. Everywhere he played in every country, probably in Latin America. You could name it.
And representation matters because you can sign with an agent that don't really know nothing about what's going on over there.
Right.
And I've heard of a story from somebody here locally. I won't say who, but they went over there with all this expectation. Didn't get paid. Mm-hmm. Didn't get taken care of like they were supposed to. Basically was over there stranded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
My guy whose hair I cut, he said that same thing.
Right.
He said he was down there and his agent, well, it wasn't his agent's fault, but he said the team folded and he was stranded.
Yeah.
And now he got to figure out, he got to get his money from them and he had to get his own way back.
Right.
So, yeah.
So,
the overtime and the G League, how many G League success stories are there?
Handful.
Out of the 900 kids that go through there.
Handful of that, if that.
How many of the overtime kids are really going to make it to be something? You know what I mean? You know, and we're selling this lie to these parents. Oh yeah, come take this $100,000 contract, because I'm gonna get my cut out of that. You know, we might be able to get you a deal with Reebok or Puma or this or that. You know, and if it don't work, you're looking stupid. You got a 25-year-old living on your couch. He's 6'7".
Yeah.
Tearing your damn couch up.
So we're gonna have to do a whole show on just that.
On the basketball lives. Yeah.
Just man, all just that, man. Just that the whole chasing the bag. You know, because you know, you gotta love this shit. You gotta love basketball to go to another country, a foreign country where you don't understand the language, the culture, none of that.
Right.
The bag is nice, but at the end of the day, yo, you gotta love that, because some people go from Baltimore to North Carolina for college and get homesick.
Correct.
So we talking about a whole nother country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's just totally different. It's just, I listen, and Coach C, we around kids, man. We and one thing I've always done as a coach when coaching young people is I listen to them.
Right.
When I was driving them to games and stuff, a lot of times I wouldn't say nothing. I just would listen to the things they talk about.
Right.
What is it that's floating their boat? You know what I'm saying? And you can tell. You got some kids that kind of get a clue of just how life works.
Right.
But a lot of them don't have a fucking clue. And they listen to anybody that sound like them.
Correct. And then the other that I found with a lot of these kids is that they're being guided by a parent that don't have a damn clue.
Yeah.
And that are leading them the wrong way.
Yeah. And if Coach C not saying what I need Coach C to say, because Coach Kenny said, we going over there with Coach Kenny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We going to move over there.
With this whole recruiting process that I'm going through now. I had a kid come in who is a legitimate 4-star guard, 6'5", extremely talented. We go through the whole workout. We do all that. We do everything. Everything's looking good. I'm ready to say, let's sign on the dotted line, make it happen. The parent, I hate having to use that word, but they was the parent, asked me, well, how many shots you gonna guarantee him? How many minutes you guarantee him?
These shots.
So it took all that I had to stay professional and ask them to leave. And the sad part, and it almost broke my heart, the kid is looking at me like, damn, I want to be here, man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can really do my thing here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not dealing with it. He looking at him, he looking at me like, yo, come on, man. The kid was trying to signal to me like, don't pay him no attention. Let's just get me in and we can play. I'm not dealing with that headache. He ain't gonna go away.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And nah.
This is a damn freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you be dealing with that shit for 4 years.
What you gonna do when this kid is, in college somewhere? The man in NIL deals, the man in this, the man in that. Like, come on, man. I'm not the demand guy. I'm not that guy.
You should ask the mother, can he play defense? How many shots he gonna stop?
Right.
And it's one of those things where his talent level will put him on the floor.
Yeah.
From what I saw from the kid, great personality, coachable, everything. So him being on the floor would not have been an issue. I'm not counting how many damn shots this kid gonna get. He's fucking cracking.
Yeah, you only got 32 minutes.
We're not dealing with the dictation. That's why I'm saying the lies that's being told. And I promise you, there's enough. He'll be on somebody's high school team somewhere, getting the exact number of shots he's supposed to be getting, playing the minutes the dad with him to play. And does that mean that's the best thing for that kid? Of course not. But the parent happy.
Yeah.
Charles, Kenny, let me ask both of y'all a question, because Cheese said something when he was talking about the NBA draft.
Right.
He said with Holmgren, if he got more aggressive. me personally, I feel like aggression is one of the traits that I'm gonna have to see before I take a chance on a kid. That's not something I feel like gets developed. I don't think heart or aggression gets developed. I think you got to already have that. I'll take that over skill, me personally. How do y'all feel about that?
So if you ain't got no dog in you, I don't want you.
I agree.
Not to be cocky or arrogant. I believe I've been around the game long enough to be able to teach you the skills to be productive. But if you're just going to fold up, somebody hit you in the chest, ain't nothing I can do for that.
Well, see, it's a difference. It's a difference between aggression and having heart. It's two different things.
Correct.
Because we can look at a guy like Kawhi Leonard. When he came in the league, he was a skilled player, but he wasn't an aggressive player.
Correct.
He was a good defender.
Yeah, and he was fine.
But he wasn't.
Yeah,
but he wasn't aggressive on offense at all. He would pick up garbage buckets, a la Cedric Ceballos or somebody like that. But he got to a point where he was getting good on offense, practicing his game. Then he all of a sudden started getting sets for him.
Now, was that contributed to the?
Hold up. Let me interject here, Cheese. You say he wasn't aggressive. That's not true. He
was not aggressive.
He wasn't aggressive in getting his own shot because he didn't have that skill. But you just said it. He got offensive rebounds. He was always around the hoop. He was aggressive.
But again, that's two different things: heart and aggression.
No, that is aggressive. If you
going
going after every loose ball, that's playing aggressive to me.
No, it can be perceived as aggression. But here's the thing: if you're not aggressive on the offensive end, like I said, he was skilled coming in the league. But sometimes when people get a green light that says, you know what, I can do this. Whereas a few years in, you're looking at a Manu Ginobili or Tony Parker, you say, you know what, I'm going to play my role and play my position. But at a certain point, he said, you know what, these guys are not better than me.
But Ginobili was aggressive from day one.
You won.
Yeah, different story, though.
Yeah.
But
that's what I mean.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, aggression to me is like, aggression is like you get lost in the sauce. I ain't saying you got to go to the hole or you shooting every shot but aggression to me is like, yo, you want to be in the game. You want to make an impact regardless of what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, in
I can see your point.
In Kawhi's defense early on, you had the Hall of Famers in front of you.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on the floor, do the other stuff. Because they already hit that fat check to do the scoring.
Very good point. Yep.
Rebound the ball, give it to Tim Duncan. Rebound the ball, give it to Ginobili. Give it to Tony Parker. Give it to these proven pros that have already won already. Give it to them. You know. Now, as they age or slow down, now it should be your turn to step up. And he did. You know. I think.
That would have been my point. I think the situation dictated. He didn't have to be as aggressive.
Yeah. Even a guy like Klay Thompson, he was extremely skilled coming in the league. But I don't think Klay had the biggest heart coming in the league. I really don't. I think over time he got better defensively because he said, you know what? He started to turn up and feel like, okay, there's other things I can do. But he had a little offensive skill set that he expanded on.
Right.
But coming in the league, it took him a few years. He wasn't what he is right now at all.
But that take me back to something I heard back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I heard Larry Bird say this about Allen Iverson. You know, AI came in, he could score with the best of them. You know, his game, you know, he could light it up. He could put the ball in the hole. And Larry Bird's thing was, once he give this man 5 years to learn the NBA, you know, now he already is an elite level scorer. Once he learns how to play in this league, then let's see where his game goes. And of course, he was, you know, won an MVP, and he was a top player for quite a while. I think that get lost too with a lot of these younger guys. Is the expectation and the growth, you know, just learning how to play in the NBA. You You know what I'm saying? Like I just talked about the young kid Holmgren, and you know, or just the draft in general being a potential. You know, we drafting guys on potential.
Right.
So basically, they doing a sophomore, junior, maybe senior year of college in the NBA. You know, they get to learn on the job.
Yep.
I think that's always been the case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not too many people that we know that came into the league and just was a dog right off the break. Everybody had a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had to learn, had to figure things out. Even if, you know, some guys could do certain things better than others. You know, Mike Jordan could score, but he still had to learn how to play at the NBA level. You know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson, you know, came in to a good situation where he had some veterans around him, and they was able to win a championship his first, he had two championships within his first 3 years.
Right. But you had the best player in the league on your team at the time, so that helped.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. But he still struggled. He still had his struggles. He had his where he had to learn. You know,
Did you just say Jordan had to learn how to play on the NBA level?
That's exactly what I said.
Or
that's exactly what I said.
Game. Right. It's more than winning than just scoring.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he was already on an NBA level on his junior year in college.
and still there was a learning curve when he got to the league.
It's two different things. You talking about the NBA level. I'm just going by Bobby Knight. 1984, Bobby Knight says they're playing the pros get ready for the Olympics. Bobby Knight says Michael Jordan is the best player in the NBA right now.
And all that being said, he still had to learn.
Still had to learn.
Well,
we talked about
and you talking to a Jordan guy. I'm a Jordan guy.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Everybody
got a learning curve.
Jordan was the man when he came in the league. I'm sorry.
Players getting the rings and all of that. And I don't want to blame it all on Jordan, but you know, it started to make a turn during his heyday. But back then, it was we were worried about this team getting the ring, more so than a particular player getting the ring. You know, like the Pistons had to go through their learning curves to get past Boston to get the ring. The Bulls, so forth. I mean, it was all about the team getting the ring.
I agree.
Along the line, we got out of that whole concept of the team and started focusing on each individual now. You know, and that was the one negative that I had about Jordan as a fan then was as he began to really ascend to a different level.
But you know,
the NBA began to focus on the individual rather than the team.
But you because it made money for him.
It did.
It made money for him. It was a business move.
Right.
But also
it hurts the overall product though.
Also the birth of 24-hour sports cycle.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That played a big part of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Good point, Kenny. Good point. You know,
yeah. ESPN was we think about ESPN, it wasn't dead yet.
But it's like now you hear people say, you know, and you know, with these dumbass conversations, you know, Jordan got swept by the Celtics, you know, in '85. And I mean, if you look at them fucking rosters, he should have got swept.
Correct.
And we talking about the Celtics. Like it wasn't the Bullets that were sweeping them. These were the mighty Celtics.
The Hall of Fame, correct.
Like he wasn't losing to no sorry ass teams, man. And like you just said, you know, it was the pecking order. That's how the league was. Detroit had to get past Boston.
Right.
Chicago had to get past Detroit. You know, the Knicks had to get past the Bulls. Well, wait a minute. That didn't happen.
The Knicks.
I'm sorry, CB. CB, I'm sorry.
Finger roll. I apologize.
John Smith on the line.
He want that to come up.
It's true.
Hey, John Smith, hello. Are you there?
But you know what? Because I'm going to wrap up. I said this was going to be
pick up. Your cheese did pick up.
He's still missing the layup.
I said this shit was going to be an hour. It really went 2. But
very spirited. I like this.
No,
I really like this.
This was good, man. I appreciate it. You know, because it's what is this? A Monday night?
Yeah.
Is this a weekday? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I still got a job. I think I've been working sometime.
This week, the highlight goes to you and Neil, because the spirited debate that you guys had.
My dog.
called passion.
My dog, we
Neil said,
had...
"You gonna let me speak?" Kenny said, "No."
Hey, and we'll probably do it again.
That's great, man. No, don't stop that.
No, we'll do it again, and we'll still meet, out in Vegas.
It's all love. That's right. Hell yeah.
You know.
So before we go, Kenny, if
That's
you
great.
figured out who does the scheduling over there at Dundalk, I'm trying to get another game on my schedule.
I mean, I put a word in, and everybody been calling me.
Because you the motherfucker we know.
Yeah, you know. I said, I need to listen. I'm gonna take that to my contract negotiations next year.
Better do it. Absolutely right.
That shit ain't gonna get me no more money.
That's an extra 5 G's.
You know,
extra 5. Shit, I'm trying to get the first 5.
You know.
Hey, sometime in the next month or so, we're gonna have a sports mix like meet at Wild Wings or something. Or
hey, I ain't gonna be there.
hold on, we might have to meet halfway, like in North Carolina.
You know, but Kenny, I promise to turn the dogs off so the score don't look bad at the end. You mean
shit?
I ain't worrying about that.
Oh,
that don't bother me.
No cell phones allowed.
Did he just say he was gonna blow? Kenny, you're not gonna take that, are you?
I've been around this thing long enough.
You're not gonna take that, are you, Kenny?
You gonna take some, and you gonna give some.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? Everybody they come.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? I still got a couple guys I'm looking for.
Sound like a threat to me. I don't know what that was about. I don't sound like a threat to me. I don't know.
This my guy. You know what I'm saying? This is my guy, man. You got 3/4.
Nah.
You got 3/5. You got 3/5 of the 1988 Dundalk Owls on this thing here.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not what he just told me, Neil, and CB. He just said that's not what I heard.
I ain't worrying about that.
Yeah.
I ain't worrying about that. Cause you know, we all listen, we ain't playing, so I don't give a fuck. We ain't out there strapping up, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get these kids better.
Who you got down in Atlanta worth coming down there to play?
Bro, I told you I ain't even out like that. If I was, but it's crazy. When I was here in 2018, man, it was 2 kids whose hair I used to cut. It was a little brother. The little brother was, the older brother. They said he was nice. I never got to see either one of them play, but he was short. He was 5'9".
Okay.
His little brother was 2 years younger than him. I think he was in 11th grade. In 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he was 6'5".
Okay.
And he was on varsity then. I mean,
Gotcha.
like I said, at this point, I ain't out and about, but man,
look up
closer to you that I can come down there and beat on. I mean, play.
Look up Kim Rivers. Look up Kim Rivers.
Kim Rivers.
Kim Rivers, Kim Rivers.
Okay.
Used to coach at Randallstown High School. He down there in Atlanta somewhere doing pretty well.
Okay.
I do got a buddy though. He coach out in Gwinnett County. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be trying to give up any of his players, but
no. I mean, we looking for games to go play.
Okay, I'll give him a call. I definitely give him a call.
Look Kim up. He got I forget the name of his school. I think it's called New Shiloh, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. New Shiloh. He down in Atlanta. He been down there since he left up here.
Shiloh High School. Yeah, Snellville, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, but he you know. And he always got pretty good teams.
Okay.
Always. So, yeah, look him up.
Because we're looking to put together something down in Shreveport. So I would have some of the Georgia teams come over. We cover the hotel and all that. You just got to get there. Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't know him like that. But I'm
Did
sure.
You add
an
S to Shreveport.
I'm
gonna say Shreveport.
Shreves. I'm East Baltimore. I got Shreves.
No, it's no S on it. It's Shreveport.
It's my mother.
That's like people say, man, I'm going to Illinois. They put the S on it. Illinois.
And all of them.
Yeah. I'm going to Illinois.
What's up there in New York? Other than Christ the King. I'll come looking for them too. That's where Melo's son is at right now.
At Christ the King?
Yeah. Cayenne or Keon or Kiyyan. I think it's Cayenne.
Cayenne, like the pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at Christ the King.
Yeah, up there where that's where Kenny Anderson went in.
Yeah.
Nah. He went to Archbishop Malloy.
Went to Malloy. Yeah. Who else went to Christ the King?
But ain't that's where I thought that's where Melo's son was at. Malloy.
No, he's at Christ the King. Melo's son's at Christ the King.
Oh, I thought he was at Malloy.
No.
My bad.
CB, who else you got up there that's worth coming to see? I can stop by and have you buy lunch. For the whole team, if your team lose.
CB in Randallstown.
CB in Randallstown?
No, I'm in Owens Mills now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my bad.
You all, I thought you was holding the 718 then.
No, man.
No, sir. I haven't been up there. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was looking at the game and looked like the Jazz and they was getting into some fisticuffs there.
Yeah, I see it. I'm watching it now.
That's what I meant to talk to y'all about. This is perfect. Well, CB, that's why you the man. Why has there been no talk about Rudy Gobert in the group?
I think that's self-explanatory.
But Rudy just did a thing last game.
Yeah, he did. We talked about that. Well, if you wasn't on Central Mountain Standard Time, you would have heard it. He come from Honolulu.
Oh, man.
6
Rudy
hours.
is there, but he's not there.
Y'all lucky it was so late. I wanted to send a text. That was so bad. Like, yeah.
Are they winning? Are they winning?
They are down by 24.
Game an old school Pistons foul. I like that.
Damn. 24.
Charles.
65-89 in the fourth quarter. 5 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, Charles, what's the because I'm on my phone, so I can't text my man, so I'm gonna send him a message on Facebook. What's the name of your program?
Rosedale Christian Academy.
Rosedale Christmas Academy. Okay.
And on that note, fellas, I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for spending your Monday evening with the sports mix. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me.
hey, look, let me put it out there. I've been listening to y'all now. Y'all inspired me, so I started a channel too, where I might need y'all to come help me.
That's great.
With some topics,
If the percolator ain't playing in the background, I ain't coming.
Bruh, hey, it's gonna be everything. I'm trying to, I ain't trying to step on y'all toes. Y'all got the sports locked down and the the whatchamacallit. So I'm just gonna come at like the
You could do one on haircutting on Barbary.
Yeah. Did you say the percolator?
Yeah.
That's
one DJ, man. I know he still got his albums around here somewhere.
Bro, they in the closet right now.
Talking about telling our age.
I never liked that song.
Hey, bro, I just made it. Look, on my channel, every week I'm gonna do a different short. So I did one about the Mike Tyson. But
that was
speaking
classic.
of the percolator, bro, I got one for you coming up this week, man.
Classic.
You gonna see it.
My man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, put it up in that. I don't know. Put it up in the TS group. See if anybody follow you.
Well, I'm in Facebook jail right now. I did post a video. You told me to post it, so I posted it.
I'm just saying.
Stay locked.
I'm just saying.
Free Neil
for life. TS for life. I just want to say.
Free Neil.
Free Neil.
Some BS.
Hey, by the way, Kenny, how many subscribers you got, man?
81.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
Yeah.
Proof.
Hey.
It's proof.
Yeah.
Right, it's a growth.
How many people in the TS group? I'm not trying to start no trouble.
No. Probably a couple thousand. Probably a couple thousand,
Couple thousand.
What's the TS group?
And the community that Kenny and Cheese are from.
Where he was born and raised.
Where they were
since he was born.
Yeah. From the womb to tomb.
We got 81 subscribers.
Yeah.
But don't forget, before y'all go, J.R. Smith got an NIL deal for golf.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Man out there look like he high as hell every day, but he doing his thing. Get that degree.
And he got a 4.0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what's up.
He taking horticulture, photography.
That's great. That's inspiring, though, man.
It truly is. We make it.
No doubt.
Proud of you.
And people don't. I know you about to go, kid. People don't realize And Charles is way more talented in golf than I am. But people don't realize how tough it is to play that sport, or that game, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to shoot those scores consistently, I wish people would go out there and just say, okay, I'm going to just see what I score. Just try it.
One time.
I had to stay. I mean, I had guys like Charles and Steph who kind of encouraged me to, even when you suck, you got people who honor, genuinely want you to play better.
Oh, that's
out there.
Yeah, we definitely want you to get better.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it's a tough game, man. Tough game.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the KFC story?
I told him that already. I already heard that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
That's when you hit the ball over the KFC?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Neil.
Across 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh man.
I made it,
Well,
bro.
Yeah, that's bad.
For those watching, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Like, share, comment, show some love. More content is on the way. Support my guys.
And for coaches on the
they got channels as well.
play the Dundalk Isles, reach out to Coach Kenny Wilkes. He the guy to contact for that. We're gonna schedule a game. 410.
And if anybody want any homemade BBLs, hit me up at 443-72.
I'm definitely leaving on that note.